am Dr. Howton. Welcome to my MD Info webcast. This first question is HCG, and HCG sometimes gets a lot of notoriety because of the attractiveness of something that would help with weight loss, but we use it as another tool in the toolbox. And from our perspective, in terms of the question of is it safe, we start off by saying, hey, we look at the whole person and we make the focus one of the person being healthy and balanced and well and sharp the rest of their life. And so as we tackle weight loss, we may deal with things like thyroid, and we may deal with nutrition and toxins and hormone balance. And if we get to a point when, as we deal with those things, that someone is either struggling with weight loss or we want to get from point A to point B quicker, we'll often use HCG as one of those tools to go from point A to point B. HCG is human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone, a pregnancy hormone, and the whole idea of using it as an adjunct for weight loss came from a doctor in the 50s named Simeons, and he made the connection that during pregnancy HCG may help facilitate mobilizing fat, so baby always has a supply of calories. And I know when I was doing OB, I never worried about a baby growing if mom was throwing up for a whole first trimester, and so the idea made sense, and the physiology made sense, and so we started playing with it 3 years back, and found that in those people that were healthy and balanced and were doing the right lifestyle changes, that HCG was a wonderful tool. I think my approach with hormones is one of saying that it's really all about balance. And whether we're looking at someone who's 20, who's having painful, heavy periods or PMS, or someone who's 60 and they're postmenopausal, we want to get away from the boxes and the labels and look at those hormone levels and say, are they optimal for our health goals? And if the health goals are to get pregnant, one of the often overlooked areas is that, hey, is progesterone adequate? Progesterone is something that should start going up after ovulation, and should spike and prepare the lining of the uterus for pregnancy. And ovulation defects are just a commonly overlooked area when people trying to conceive. And we do that by measuring those hormone levels days 19 to 25 when progesterone should be spiking. And if we find that there's an issue with progesterone levels, then often we'll use a bioidentical progesterone, and typically in a cream form, because it lets us adjust and fine-tune more, and by bringing those progesterone levels to an optimal range, often we can enhance and get the cycle to be predictable, regular, and to have the lining of the uterus prepared and optimal for pregnancy. Definitions, I guess, are important. So to me, a bioidentical hormone simply means that whatever hormone we're using, whether it's for thyroid, adrenals, or sex hormones, that it's exactly the same molecule that our body is used to, and maybe it's not making enough of at the time. A good example is insulin. In the old days, we had pig insulin, and it saved lives, and it did a good job in lowering blood sugars. But when the lab was able to make natural, bioidentical human insulin, then all of us switched to human insulin. And it doesn't make sense for anybody to try to use pig insulin when we have human insulin available. And so when we look at hormones, it's important to distinguish it. It's not that pharmaceutical is bad if it means good processes, if it means standardizing purity and all that. But there are some pharmaceutical versions of hormones that are bioidentical, and there are some that are not. And our preference is to use bioidentical hormones whenever we use hormones in terms of hormone replacement. We know that the symptoms of menopause are caused by hormones changing, and so rather than waiting for someone to fit the label of menopause, i.e., our LH and FSH elevated beyond a certain level, or have they gone without a period for a year, we look at the hormones all through the process and come back to the same question of, are the ratios and levels optimal for health goals? And so one of the ways to take menopause in stride is to deal with the hormones before menopause is there. It isn't rocket science that hormones have changed and are low when someone comes in and they've been having 2-3 years of no periods, hot flashes and mood swings, and they're not sleeping and they're grumpy. But the idea is even to preempt the whole thing and not wait till you fit the box and you're miserable enough to then want to do something about it. And part of the reasons is that in that process of not feeling well, there are also changes that are happening in the body that are not healthy. One of it being that if progesterone and testosterone declined, and often they decline before estrogens, that then there's an estrogen dominant picture that's occurred, and in that process, estrogen causes weight gain. The reason cattle get estrogens in feedlots is because it fattens them up, and so women often go through a period of several years before menopause when weight is coming on, when people come in and say, hey, I'm working out but I'm getting flabbier, and there are a lot of negative pro-inflammatory changes that are happening. And so how to take it in stride, I would say just preempt the process, be proactive, and deal with the hormones all along rather than when the box and the label fits.